guys, welcome back to Hungry Geeks. My name is Ethan de Guzman and it's now officially the Burr months. So this Burr months, it started quite well for the smartphone brands, and particularly this Burr months is yet the season we can see that there are a lot of smartphone launches. One of the recent smartphone launches that we saw was really from Vivo. Vivo's V25 series. I have here the V25 and the V25 Pro. Now, these two smartphones are just 2 out of the 3 smartphones from the V25 series that they launched recently, and it will become available really soon. Actually, they're currently in pre-order right now. Of course, any brand right now wants to deliver their bang for the buck smartphone, especially this Burr month season, because technically you want to have that smartphone that's really good for your personality, good for the camera, good for the performance, and that fits your budget. So currently, we already have the feature in terms of the V25. We're going to focus more on the V25 Pro. Yes, this is the first time to have a Pro series of a V series here in the Philippines, and we're quite interested why Vivo has offered the V25 Pro here in the Philippines. So let's check out more on the V25 Pro. So if you're going to ask me, Ison, what's the most highlight feature for the V25 series? One is really more on the design. They really focus more on having that minimalistic design, and then technically, of course, night photography in terms of their camera capabilities. We've saw a lot of innovations in terms of their X series previously, and we were really impressed of their X series smartphones. And then, of course, lastly is that amazing photochromic feature. We have the Vivo V23 last generation in terms of the color changing smartphone. This also has that, but in an improved version for photochromic 2.0. So that's just the thin layer of the iceberg in terms of all of the features for the V series. We're going to have now an in-depth feature in terms of what makes the V25 Pro a best for the bank smartphone, which costs only 29,999 pesos. Honestly, I was amazed that Vivo filled up this price point because not a lot of smartphone brands want to capture 29,999 or 30,000 pesos. So let's check out now why it's really a best value smartphone in terms of that price. Okay, number one, it's really more on the display. The display is still an in-display fingerprint scanner with an AMOLED display. It's curved as well, same as the X80 series, featuring a 6.58-inch display, Full HD Plus 120Hz display. Now, that's really nice because all of the major aspects in terms of an AMOLED display, in terms of high refresh rate, and also brightness in terms of nits, that it has it all technically. So above that, it's really premium because this one is a curved display smartphone. So I know that you have seen a lot of box type smartphones right now because of the iPhone series, but having a curved smartphone at this price point for 30,000 pesos is unbeatable. Honestly, I still like of juggling my phone like this, and it's really nice to hold because the back has its anti-glare glass in terms of overall build, a single frame at the side which is glossy. But the really nice thing about this one is what I said earlier is the photochromic 2.0 version of the anti-glare glass here. What do I mean? The color of this one is surfing blue. As you can see, it's really a cloudy blue, really nice texture. But once the UV light or from the sun rays exposes this phone, it will turn into a more deeper tones of blue in terms of the hue. So what will happen is that it will have its own personality and give you a more prominent and royal blue looking phone. Of course, in terms of camera, we have the capability here of a 64 megapixel camera plus an 8 megapixel ultra wide camera and an assisted 2 megapixel macro camera. Now, if you question me right now, why not 108 megapixel? Why not 200 megapixel? it's not about the megapixels. Again, let's go back to the story from the X80 series where they had the refinement in terms of hardware as well. And I think they took some learnings from that and implemented here on the Vivo V25 Pro. I'm talking about here in really more of an super real-time night photography mode in terms of the Vivo V25 series. This camera sensor is really more sensitive in terms of night photography and has the power in terms of the capability to process that night photography in multiple layers of images to have that accurate color night to day transformation, especially in low light conditions. Okay, what's good about the 64 megapixel main camera here is that it has already two features that we always look for on the flagship smartphone. One is optical image stabilization. It means that's the hardware stabilization where there are mechanisms inside the camera that moves to stabilize your image. Second is really more on the electronic stabilization side. So it's really nice that you have both hardware and software in terms of stabilization, night photography in terms of high capabilities, in terms of overall photography that can handle multiple layers of night exposures to give you that kind of night photography confidence where you want to take photos that you are confident that you'll get the right photo. Aside from that, of course, daytime photography or indoor lighting photography is no problem with this smartphone. Taking portraits in terms of this smartphone is also easy. So, of course, we have videos here up to 60 frames per second. It also has 4K mode in terms of Full HD mode. But what I like about here is more of that Full HD 60 frames per second. It's not that big in terms of files, but it's going to give you that recording that you like in terms of high refresh rate. And it's not stuttery and also gives you better conditions. In terms of photography, I was able to test this smartphone out for a week or so. It just really feels optimized. When I say it just really feels optimized, it's kind of similar to the previous X70 series where for the same price point of 29,999 or 30,000 pesos, you have a smartphone that can just simply click in terms of the photo and then just take photos like this. It's so fast. That's the experience that I got. It's the same as well here on the V25 Pro. Colors are right, the exposures are right, focus is right, and ultimately, I'm really liking the 30,000 peso price range. Okay, in terms of performance, in terms of the processor, gaming, and also multitasking, honestly, I'm impressed as well with this phone. Who would have thought that there's a smartphone right now with 12 gigabytes of RAM as standard, and you can even expand it up to 8 gigabytes of RAM using the extended RAM mode or using the flash storage as extended RAM. It means it has a combination of a total 20 gigabytes of RAM in terms of capacity, and then it's 256 gigabytes in UFS 3.1 in storage. So that means it's one of the latest in terms of performance for storage already. And the RAM is a low-power DDR4X. So it's really nice already in terms of the hardware. It doesn't lack you in terms of hardware limitations. You already have the latest in terms of hardware. So it acts fast, it performs fast, and it's powered by the Dimensity 1300 in terms from MediaTek. It means it's a 5G processor with 6 nanometers in terms of sizing in its capacitors. It has around 700,000 points in Antutu benchmark, or almost 700,000 points. That's fairly more than decent enough for its price point. So in terms of gaming as well, the MediaTek Dimensity 1300, I'm really satisfied with its performance. Camera-wise, I'm satisfied it can handle that kind of performance for as a flagship photography smartphone. Secondly, the gaming performance. I play two major games right now in terms of here in the Philippines, Mobile Legends and Genshin Impact, but I'm really more of a Genshin Impact fan. So I'm really happy to say high settings, 60 frames per second, even from the settings right now, just crank it up, it can handle as well. All this because I'm really amazed and also astonished of Vivo's processing in terms of giving priority to gaming. This is because of their Game Boost technology. So it has that multi-turbo loading screen every time you open a game, and you will have the option to boost your gaming, proceed on normal mode or in even battery saving mode depending on the profile that you need, shun off all the notifications, and give priority for both RAM and processor for the game what you're playing right now. So it means that the capability of this smartphone when it comes to gaming, given that it has a very gorgeous AMOLED display, it has a very good processor, and mind you, the speakers are really loud as well, even though it's just a single firing speakers from the bottom. The Audio Boost 2.0 is really nice. Overall, if you combine all of those features, it's already a gaming powerhouse for me. Again, it's really nice to hold, it's nice in terms of performance, the view is nice, and you can really play games here with no problem. Of course, for a phone at this price point, you will have to expect some performance as well in terms of battery. So I'm fortunately happy to say that this has a 4,830 milliampere battery capacity plus 66 watts in terms of fast charging from Vivo. That combines around 40% in 15 minutes and even 71% in 30 minutes in terms of performance. But of course, this is still subjective based on the temperature and management of the smartphone based from where it started. So don't expect the same results. Those are published results by Vivo. So if you're going to ask me, is the Vivo V25 really worth it for its price? Honestly, yes. For 30,000 pesos or 29,999 pesos, you have really good features already. Of course, 5G dual SIM, MediaTek Dimensity 1300, 12GB of RAM that's even extendable, and of course, 256GB of storage. Overall, with that kind of combination, plus the curved AMOLED display and the 64-megapixel night sensing camera, it's an overall package that's really snappy, fast, and strikingly beautiful because of its photochromic 2.0 body. So with that, the Vivo V25 Pro as the first Pro V series here in the Philippines, I say this is really a well-priced smartphone for 30,000 pesos. And with that, honestly, Vivo, I give it to you. It's a nice price point, it's good features, and it's very impressive. I suggest you check out Vivo Philippines in terms of their offering for the V25 Pro. Of course, as I mentioned, 29,999. If you pre-order until October 7, you will have a free football limited edition dual wireless sound in terms of earpiece. So why not? If you're considering to change smartphones this holiday season for this Burr months, the V25 Pro is really one great contender. So with that, thank you so much guys. My name is Ison De Guzman. If you have any questions about the V25 Pro or even the V25, just shot a comment down below and I'll try to answer whatever it is and give you a little bit more expanding comments and also answer any in terms of your queries for these two smartphones. So with that guys, thank you so much for checking out this channel. My name is Ison De Guzman. Make sure you subscribe and also check out our website as well at www.hungrygeeks.com.ph. And with that, thank you so much guys. Bye.